8 days until Election Day.
For the past 9 years, we have been fighting against the most sinister and corrupt forces on earth. With your vote in this election, you can show them once and for all that this nation does not belong to them.
And I'm going to tell you, as I travel around our country, there is an overwhelming call for a fresh start. For a new generation of leadership that is optimistic and excited about what we can do together.
So here's the latest. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris taking the fight for the White House outside the swing states. We're just over a week until Election Day. Bloomberg reporting more registered Republicans have already voted in Arizona, Nevada and North Carolina. They're Democrats. Henrietta Trays of Vader Partners writing, it is distinctly possible that a victor is named in the 2024 election by Wednesday. If not, the worst-case scenario pandemic year-level disruption suggests developments could come through Friday and possibly Saturday, as was the case in 2020. Henrietta joins us now for more. So, Henrietta, let's get to your base case. Do we get a 2016 or a 2020?
I think we're looking more at 2016. I think a lot of the disparities, discrepancies, any concerns at the local and county level amongst the electors, they're fully staffed. They have gone through the 2022 midterm elections. They've gone through all these lawsuits. I think all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and we will have an outcome on Wednesday. I'm optimistic.
Henrietta, but what do you make of Maricopa County election officials saying it could take anywhere from 10 to 13 days?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely preparing us for the worst, but I believe Arizona and Nevada in particular were uniquely sort of embarrassed by the way the 2020 election took so long to call. And a lot of that disruption came from the occupant of the White House. So I think that this time around, they will be very diligent and careful about how they're reporting. And then hopefully we won't have to depend on just one state to decide or to know who wins the election. Maybe in the House, for sure. I think it'll take all week to get a solution, but I'm hopeful that the rest of the country will give us a decisive solution.
A theme that I've been hearing from sources a lot on both sides, that Democrats are actually running a very good ground game, especially in these swing states. But you're actually seeing, and so are we, a lot of Republicans are going out and voting early. Are they catching up to that ground game?
It's the ground game right now, and the pull forward vote is incredible. In a number of states, including Nevada, there are double the amount of Election Day Republicans from 2020 voting early this cycle. So this message that you saw on the big Jumbotron at MSG last night was vote early. The Republican Party across various swing states, including Pennsylvania and Georgia as well, have spent millions of dollars trying to educate their voters to vote early, vote in person. Democrats still predominantly vote early in mail-in ballots. So we're waiting for that data, for example, out of Clark County in Nevada to catch up. But what we're going to need and what Democrats will need going forward is to see what the turnout is on Election Day. And in particular this week, this is a week where a lot of the younger voters turn out early if they're going to vote. Mostly right now, it's rural, white, older voters who are turning out, which is a disproportionately Republican demographic.
Henrietta, we know that once you go out and vote early, then whether you're Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, you could focus on some of those margins potentially to get out then on Election Day. And you say this all comes down to the suburbs. Who wins the suburbs?
Yeah, that is the game. In 2016, Hillary Clinton lost the suburbs. And I think it was only by about 2 points, but it was enough to lose the entire election. This is your suburbs outside of Philadelphia, outside of Pittsburgh, key portions of Michigan and Wisconsin. In 2020, Joe Biden narrowly won them back, again, by, I think, 2 points. So he was able to claw back those suburban voters. Kamala Harris currently leads nationally with suburban voters by 6 points. So we spend a lot of time talking about the youth Latino and youth male vote. Obviously, they'll be but a part of the conversation is we're talking about Puerto Rico being a floating pile of garbage and things like that. But that is what turns off the suburban married voter. And they disproportionately vote in elections. And they have been the clincher for either candidate in the last 2 cycles and probably will be again in this 3rd cycle. They're voting more than they did in 2020, while cities and urban dwellers are voting less and rural voters are voting more than they did in 2020. So it's the suburban vote that is integral and critical to this election right now.